Liam had always been drawn to places that most people ignored. Old houses, abandoned buildings, and forgotten streets fascinated him. He loved imagining the stories that once lived there. One bright morning, while walking along a quiet road at the edge of his town, he noticed a tall iron gate, rusted and leaning slightly. Beyond it lay a large mansion, hidden by overgrown trees and ivy. Its windows were dark, and the walls were cracked, but Liam felt an irresistible pull. Curiosity led him closer. He pushed open the creaking gate and stepped onto a path covered in fallen leaves. The air smelled of earth and age. The mansion was quiet, almost silent, except for the distant sound of birds and the occasional rustle of leaves. Liam's heart beat faster with excitement. He loved discovering forgotten places, but this mansion felt different. There was something about it that felt alive, like it was waiting for someone. The front door was slightly open. Liam pushed it gently and entered. Dust floated in the sunlight streaming through broken windows. The floorboards creaked under his feet, and cobwebs hung in the corners. He walked slowly, letting his eyes adjust to the dim light. Every room seemed empty and lifeless, yet the mansion had a strange beauty. Painted walls were faded, but traces of colors and patterns remained, hinting at a time when the house was full of life. As Liam explored, he noticed a staircase leading to the upper floors. His curiosity grew stronger. He climbed carefully, each step making a soft groan. On the second floor, he found a long hallway lined with doors, all closed except one at the far end. He approached it and pushed the door open. Inside, he found a large, forgotten ballroom. Dust covered the wooden floor, and the chandeliers above were dull and cracked, yet their shapes were elegant, almost regal. The walls were decorated with faded paintings, and a grand mirror stretched across one side of the room, its surface clouded with age. Liam stopped in the doorway, mesmerized. He had seen old houses before, but nothing like this. The ballroom was vast and silent, yet it seemed to whisper stories of the past. Liam stepped inside, feeling as if he had crossed into another world. Sunlight streamed through tall windows, highlighting the worn patterns on the floor. He walked slowly, imagining grand parties, music, and laughter that must have once filled this room. It was easy to picture people dancing, dressed in elegant clothes, smiling and celebrating. The thought made Liam smile. At the far corner of the room, something unusual caught his eye. A painting leaned against the wall, different from the others. While the other paintings were dull and faded, this one seemed vibrant, almost glowing. Liam walked closer. It was a portrait of a young woman, standing gracefully in a flowing dress. Her eyes seemed to follow him, and her gentle smile felt familiar, even though he had never seen her before. Liam felt a shiver of excitement. There was something about the painting that felt alive. He wondered how it had stayed so bright when everything else in the mansion had faded. Kneeling beside it, he brushed off the dust. The colors beneath were beautiful soft blues, warm golds, and a hint of pink in the woman's cheeks. Liam's imagination ran wild. Who was she? Why did her painting feel so different from the others? He stood up and took a deep breath. The ballroom was quiet again, but now it felt welcoming, not empty. Liam's mind was full of questions, but he also felt a sense of peace. This place, though forgotten by the world, had a story waiting to be discovered. He knew he wanted to return, to learn more, and perhaps uncover the secrets hidden in the mansion. Before leaving, Liam walked slowly to the doorway, taking one last look at the ballroom. He promised himself he would come back the next day. Something told him that this mansion, and especially this ballroom, was special. It was not just a place of dust and shadows, it was a place that remembered happiness and could, perhaps, remember it again. As he stepped back into the sunlight, Liam felt a strange mix of excitement and calm. The mansion seemed to stand quietly behind him, as if acknowledging his visit. He walked home with a light heart, already planning his return. Little did he know that his curiosity would soon lead him to a discovery that would change his life in ways he could never imagine. The next morning, Liam could hardly wait to return to the mansion. He felt a mix of excitement and curiosity, wondering if the glowing painting from yesterday would reveal more secrets. The sun was just rising, casting golden light on the overgrown path that led to the gate. As he approached, the mansion seemed quieter than before, yet somehow more inviting. He pushed open the rusted gate and stepped inside, eager to see the forgotten ballroom again. Walking through the main hall, Liam noticed how different the mansion felt when he was fully awake and alert. Shadows danced lightly on the walls as the sunlight streamed through the broken windows. The air smelled faintly of old wood and flowers long gone, giving the place a peaceful, almost magical feeling. Liam hurried up the stairs, his heart beating faster with anticipation. When he reached the ballroom door, he paused. Something felt different. The room was still quiet, but a faint warmth seemed to come from its center, almost like the space itself was alive. Liam pushed open the door slowly and stepped inside. He froze. There, in the middle of the room, stood a young woman. She was graceful and calm, with dark, flowing hair and soft eyes that seemed to glow in the morning light. She wore a simple dress, pale in color, that moved gently as she shifted. Liam blinked, unsure if he was seeing reality or imagining a dream. The woman noticed him immediately. She smiled, a warm and gentle smile that eased the sudden surprise in his chest. "Hello," she said softly. Her voice was musical, carrying a friendliness that made Liam feel instantly at ease. "I've been waiting for someone to visit." Liam stepped closer, unsure what to say. I'm Liam," he finally managed. "I came back to see the ballroom again." "I know," she replied, tilting her head slightly. "I've seen you before. You have a curious heart, don't you?" Liam nodded, feeling both nervous and fascinated. "Yes. I love discovering old places. There is something special about this ballroom. I felt it yesterday." The woman's smile grew warmer. "You are right. This place is special. It remembers happiness and joy. That is why it welcomed you." She gestured to the center of the room, where the sunlight touched the dusty floor. "Would you like to see more?" Liam's curiosity sparked. "Yes, I would." The woman who introduced herself as Arya walked gracefully across the room. Liam followed, noticing the way her presence seemed to brighten the space. As they walked, she spoke softly about the mansion, telling him small stories about its past. She described grand parties, cheerful music, and people dancing with laughter that filled the walls. Liam listened with rapt attention, imagining every scene she painted with her words. "What about you?" Liam asked finally, curiosity bubbling. "Why are you here? I've never seen anyone else in this mansion before." Arya paused, her eyes thoughtful. "I am connected to this place," she said carefully. "I am here to keep its memories alive. I enjoy seeing others find joy in it, just like you do." Liam nodded slowly, trying to understand. "So, you've been here for a long time?" "In a way," Arya answered, smiling gently. "Time moves differently here. But I'm happy to meet someone who cares for this place as much as I do." For a few moments, they stood quietly in the center of the ballroom. Liam noticed that the sunlight seemed to touch Arya in a special way, making her seem almost magical. The room felt alive around her, the chandeliers glimmering faintly and the walls reflecting a warmth Liam had never seen before. He realized that meeting Arya was unlike any experience he had ever had. Breaking the silence, Arya held out her hand. "Would you like to dance?" she asked softly. Liam blinked in surprise. "Dance? Here?" "Yes," she said, her smile encouraging. "The ballroom remembers dances. It will respond to our steps, just as it did long ago." Liam hesitated for a moment, then smiled and took her hand. As they moved together, even slowly at first, the ballroom seemed to awaken. Dust floated lightly in the air like tiny stars, and the sunlight shimmered against the old mirrors. Liam felt a rush of joy he could not explain. Dancing here, with Arya, felt like stepping into a dream, but one that was real and wonderful. When the dance ended, they laughed together, a soft, happy sound that seemed to echo around the room. Liam realized that the mansion and the ballroom were not just buildings, they were alive in their own way, and Arya was the heart that connected it all. As he left the ballroom that day, Liam could not stop thinking about her. Arya had changed the mansion for him, made it feel alive, and most importantly, she had touched his heart. He knew he would return again, eager to learn more, and hoping for another magical moment in the forgotten ballroom. The next day, Liam returned to the mansion with a sense of excitement that made his steps quick and light. The sun was high in the sky, casting soft golden rays over the overgrown path leading to the gate. As he approached, he noticed that the mansion seemed more alive than ever. The shadows moved gently, and the broken windows reflected the sunlight in a way that almost looked like tiny sparks dancing across the walls. When he entered the ballroom, Arya was already there. She stood near the far corner, gazing at the grand mirror that stretched across one wall. Her expression was calm, yet her eyes seemed to shine with an inner light. Seeing her there, Liam felt a warmth in his chest. He had not expected to feel this way, but there was something in her presence that made the room and even the air itself feel special. "Good morning, Liam," Arya said softly, turning to greet him. Her voice carried a melody of kindness that made him smile instantly. "Good morning, Arya," Liam replied, stepping closer. "I couldn't wait to come back. Yesterday, it was amazing." Arya smiled and extended her hand. "Would you like to dance again?" Liam hesitated for a moment. Dancing with someone was not something he often did, but there was something about Arya's calm confidence that made him feel safe. He nodded and took her hand. As they moved to the center of the ballroom, Liam felt a strange, wonderful sensation. The dust on the floor seemed to lift slightly with every step, and the sunlight streaming through the windows became warmer, brighter. It was as if the room itself had been waiting for this moment. The chandeliers above twinkled faintly, reflecting tiny prisms of light across the walls. Liam could hardly believe his eyes, yet it felt perfectly natural. Arya began to lead the dance, guiding Liam gently. Their steps were slow at first, hesitant, but gradually they became more confident. The ballroom seemed to respond to every movement. Faded patterns on the floor reappeared, and the grand mirror reflected not just their images, but a sense of energy and life that Liam had never seen before. As they danced, Arya began to speak softly. "The ballroom remembers the happiness of those who once celebrated here. It holds on to joy, and when someone who cares enters, it awakens." Liam listened, fascinated. "So it's alive, in its own way." "Yes," she said, her eyes meeting his. It remembers. And sometimes, it shares its memories with those who are willing to see. Liam felt a shiver of excitement. This place, once forgotten and empty, was now full of life, and he was part of it. More than that, he felt a connection with Arya that went beyond words. She moved gracefully, guiding him through turns and steps, and he found himself laughing quietly at his own clumsy attempts, yet feeling perfectly in place. The more they danced, the more the ballroom seemed to bloom around them. The mirrors glimmered with reflections of soft colors, almost like past celebrations hidden in the walls. Faint echoes of music seemed to drift in the air, though there was no source, only the memory of joy. Liam felt as if he had stepped into another time, yet it was real and alive right now, with Arya by his side. When the dance ended, they stood close, catching their breath. Liam noticed the gentle smile on Arya's face, the way her eyes sparkled as though they held a secret of the mansion itself. He realized that meeting her had changed the way he saw the world. The mansion was no longer just an old building, it was a place of life, memory, and wonder. "Thank you," Liam said quietly, looking around the ballroom. "I've never experienced anything like this. It feels alive." Arya nodded. "It is alive. And now, it will remember you too. Your joy, your curiosity, your courage, these are the things that bring it back to life." For a few moments, they remained in the center of the room, hands still lightly clasped, simply enjoying the quiet magic of the space. Liam could feel a new sense of wonder growing inside him, a desire to explore and understand not just the mansion, but Arya and the bond that was forming between them. Finally, Arya stepped back and let go of his hand, though her smile remained. "Come again tomorrow," she said softly. "There is still much to see, and the ballroom has many more memories to share." Liam nodded, feeling a sense of happiness that he had never known before. As he left the mansion that day, he walked slowly, savoring the feeling of the ballroom and Arya's presence. He knew that his life was changing, and that something extraordinary had begun in the forgotten ballroom, a story of wonder, connection, and perhaps, something even deeper than he had imagined. Liam could not stop thinking about the ballroom. Every day after school, he would walk toward the mansion, his steps quick with excitement. The more he visited, the more he felt that the mansion and Arya were connected in ways he could not yet understand. The world outside seemed ordinary, but the forgotten ballroom was extraordinary, and he longed to uncover its secrets. When he arrived that afternoon, the mansion seemed quieter than usual. The sunlight poured gently through the broken windows, and the air smelled of dust and something faintly sweet, like old flowers. Liam climbed the stairs quickly, almost running now, his heart beating with anticipation. As he reached the ballroom door, he paused, noticing that the heavy wooden door seemed to welcome him, moving slightly as if inviting him inside. When he entered, Arya was already there, standing near the center of the room. She looked at him with a calm smile, her presence filling the space with warmth. "I wondered when you would return," she said softly. "It feels different when you are here." "I had to come," Liam replied. I feel like there is so much more to this place." "And to you, Arya. You seem different from anywhere I've known." Arya tilted her head slightly, her eyes thoughtful. "I am not like other people, Liam. I am connected to this mansion. I exist here to keep its memories alive." Liam's curiosity grew stronger. "But how? What does that mean?" Arya smiled gently. "I cannot explain everything yet. Some things must be discovered. But I can tell you this, the ballroom responds to joy, to kindness, and to care. It remembers the happiness of the past and reflects the hearts of those who enter. Liam felt a shiver of wonder. He looked around at the faded walls, the cracked chandeliers, and the dusty floor. So, when I'm here, it comes alive. Yes, Arya said softly. And when you are with me, it seems to awaken more. You bring something special: curiosity, courage, and a kind heart. The ballroom notices these things. Liam could hardly believe it. A room that could remember joy, that could respond to him, and that somehow connected with Arya herself. It was more than he had ever imagined. For a moment, he simply stood there, feeling the gentle warmth of the sunlight and the soft energy of the room. Would you like to dance? Arya asked, extending her hand once more. Liam nodded eagerly. They moved to the center of the ballroom, hands lightly touching. As they began to dance, the room seemed to awaken around them. The mirrors reflected not just their images, but a soft glow of colors, like the memory of happiness itself. The chandeliers flickered faintly, casting small spots of light across the walls. Liam felt as though the room itself was breathing, moving gently with each step they took. As they danced, Liam noticed something new. The paintings on the walls, which had always seemed faded and dull, now showed hints of movement. Figures in old portraits appeared to shift slightly, smiling as if they remembered the music and laughter of long ago. Liam felt a sense of wonder and connection unlike anything he had ever experienced. Liam, Arya said softly, her voice full of warmth, you are beginning to understand. The ballroom holds more than just walls and floors. It holds stories, emotions, and memories. And the more care you bring, the more it awakens. Liam looked at her, his heart full of questions and admiration. And you, are you part of this? Or, something else? Arya's eyes softened. I am part of it, in a way. I exist to protect it, to keep its joy alive. But I am also glad to meet someone who understands its value. Someone who sees not just the dust and decay, but the beauty beneath. The dance ended, and they stood quietly in the center of the ballroom. Liam could feel the energy of the room lingering, a soft hum that filled the air. He realized that he wanted to learn more about Arya, about the mansion, and about the stories that had once filled this forgotten space. As he left that day, Liam felt a new determination. The mansion was not just a building to explore, it was a living place, full of secrets and magic. And Arya was at the heart of it. He knew that with each visit, he would uncover more, and perhaps, the ballroom itself would reveal its greatest story yet, one of joy, connection, and the extraordinary bond between him and Arya. One late afternoon, Liam returned to the mansion with a sense of anticipation he could hardly contain. The sun was low in the sky, casting long shadows across the overgrown path. The mansion looked quiet and still, but Liam felt a familiar warmth as he stepped through the rusted gate. Today, he was determined to uncover more of the secrets the ballroom held. As he climbed the stairs and entered the ballroom, Arya was waiting. She greeted him with her usual gentle smile, her eyes shining softly in the fading light. You are early today, she said. I wanted to see more, Liam replied. There is something about this place, and about you, Arya. I feel like I need to understand it. Arya's expression softened. I can show you some things, but you must promise to approach them with care and respect. The mansion remembers feelings. It responds to kindness and courage. Liam nodded earnestly. I promise. Arya led him to the far corner of the room, near a dusty wooden floorboard that seemed slightly different from the rest. Look here, she said, gently lifting the board. Beneath it was a small, hidden compartment. Inside, Liam found an old diary, its leather cover cracked and worn. He carefully opened it and began to read. The diary belonged to a young woman named Arya, written many decades ago. She had loved the ballroom and spent countless hours dancing and celebrating there. Liam's heart skipped a beat as he read her words. The diary described laughter, joy, and the simple beauty of human connection. It spoke of friendships, music, and the happiness that filled the space when people truly cherished the moments they shared. Liam looked up at the Arya standing beside him. This is your diary?" he asked softly. Arya nodded. "Yes. I am connected to it. I am part of the ballroom's memory. The stories, the dances, the joy, they are all part of me. And now, meeting you, the ballroom awakens in new ways." Liam's mind swirled with wonder. He had known Arya was special, but now he understood that she was more than human. She was a guardian of the ballroom's happiness. And yet, she was not distant or unkind. Her presence was warm and comforting, and Liam felt a deep bond forming with her. He turned back to the diary and read a passage aloud. "The ballroom lives in the hearts of those who cherish joy. It remembers laughter, and it awaits those who are willing to share it again." "That is exactly what I feel," Liam said. "When I dance here with you, the room comes alive. It feels happy, like it remembers everything it once held." Arya's eyes shone with a gentle light. "Yes, Liam. That is why you are special. You see beyond the dust and decay. You see the heart of this place, and it responds to your care." For a while, they stood in silence, hands lightly touching, both absorbed in the quiet magic of the room. Liam realized that the ballroom was more than a place. It was a living memory, a connection between past and present, and between him and Arya. "I feel like I understand you more now," Liam said softly. "But I still want to know everything. I want to know how you became part of the ballroom, and why it chose to reveal itself to me." Arya smiled faintly, her gaze gentle. "Some things are not revealed all at once. The ballroom, like life, unfolds slowly. But you have already begun to see its heart. That is the first step." Liam nodded, feeling a mixture of patience and eagerness. He had discovered a secret he had never imagined, yet he knew there were more wonders waiting. The diary had connected him to the past, and Arya had connected him to the present. Together, they had begun to awaken the ballroom, filling it with joy once more. As the sun dipped lower, casting a warm glow through the windows, Liam felt a sense of peace and excitement. He realized that his life had changed. The mansion, the ballroom, and Arya had opened a door to something extraordinary. The forgotten ballroom was no longer silent. It remembered happiness, and now, it remembered him too. As Liam left that evening, he glanced back at the room. The chandeliers flickered softly, the mirrors reflected a warm glow, and he could almost hear faint echoes of laughter and music. He smiled, knowing he would return tomorrow, eager to continue the story of the ballroom, and to share more moments with Arya, the guardian of its memories and the keeper of its joy. The next day, Liam hurried toward the mansion as soon as the sun rose. His steps were faster than usual, and his heart was filled with anticipation. The thought of seeing Arya again and returning to the ballroom, which had begun to feel like a second home, made him smile. He had discovered so much about the mansion, the diary, and Arya, but he knew there were more secrets waiting to be uncovered. When he reached the ballroom, Arya was already there. She stood near the grand mirror, her reflection catching the soft light streaming through the windows. She smiled warmly at him. I wondered when you would arrive, she said, her voice gentle and welcoming. I couldn't wait, Liam replied, returning her smile. Every time I come here, it feels different. I feel more alive somehow. Arya's eyes sparkled with understanding. The ballroom awakens with your presence, Liam. It responds to the joy you bring and the care you show. That is why it feels alive when you enter. Liam stepped closer, his curiosity bubbling. I want to understand more. I want to see how it remembers, how it truly lives. Arya nodded, extending her hand. Then dance with me, Liam. Let the ballroom guide you. Taking her hand, Liam moved to the center of the room. As they began to dance, the ballroom seemed to respond immediately. The chandeliers above sparkled faintly, sending tiny shards of light across the walls. The dust on the floor lifted slightly, swirling like golden sparks. The mirrors reflected not only their movements but also a soft glow, as if the memories of past dances were blending with the present. With each step, Liam felt a growing connection not just to the ballroom, but to Arya. He realized that their movements were in harmony, and in that harmony, the room itself seemed to awaken further. It was as if the mansion remembered every joyful moment it had ever held and now shared it with them. You see, Liam, Arya said softly as they moved, the ballroom is not just a place. It is a memory, a feeling, a connection. And when hearts are open, it responds. You are helping it remember happiness. Liam smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him. It's incredible. I've never experienced anything like this before. It's like the room itself is alive, and it's happy when we are here. Arya's eyes softened. Yes. And there is something else, something I need to share with you. She paused, her gaze steady. I feel a bond with you, Liam. It is not just the ballroom that awakens, it is us. We share something extraordinary, something that grows with every visit, every dance, every moment together. Liam's heart raced. He had sensed a special connection with Arya from the very first moment, but hearing her words made it real, tangible. I feel the same, he admitted quietly. Being here with you, it feels right. It feels like I belong, not just in this room, but with you. Arya's smile grew, gentle and radiant. And that is why the ballroom responds so vividly today. It mirrors what we feel. The joy, the trust, the connection, it comes alive through us. For a few moments, they continued to dance in silence, letting the room carry their shared emotions. Liam noticed the walls glowing softly, the mirrors reflecting colors that had been hidden for decades. The chandeliers above twinkled faintly, and even the sunlight seemed brighter, warmer, and more alive. The ballroom had become a living, breathing witness to their bond. As the dance ended, they stood together in the center of the room, hands still clasped, hearts full of unspoken understanding. Liam felt a sense of peace, wonder, and joy unlike anything he had ever known. He realized that he had discovered more than a forgotten ballroom. He had discovered connection, trust, and a friendship that was slowly turning into something more. Arya's voice broke the quiet, gentle, and full of warmth. Come back tomorrow, Liam. There are still more stories for the ballroom to share, and more memories for us to create together. Liam nodded, smiling. I will. I can't wait. As he left the mansion that evening, he looked back at the ballroom, shimmering faintly in the fading sunlight. He knew that every visit, every dance, and every shared moment with Arya was awakening something extraordinary not only in the mansion but in his own heart. The forgotten ballroom had become a place of wonder, joy, and connection, and he felt certain that its greatest story was only beginning. The next morning, Liam woke with a sense of excitement that made his heart beat faster than usual. Today, he would return to the ballroom, and he felt that something extraordinary awaited him. The mansion, with its silent walls and overgrown gardens, seemed almost to hum in anticipation. Every step he took toward the gate felt lighter, as if the path itself was welcoming him. When Liam entered the ballroom, he was immediately struck by its beauty. The chandeliers sparkled faintly, catching the soft morning light. The mirrors reflected more than just the room, they shimmered with colors that seemed to dance across the walls. It was as if the ballroom itself had been waiting for this very day. Arya was there, standing near the center, her eyes shining brighter than ever. She greeted him with a warm smile. "Good morning, Liam. Today feels special." "I can feel it," Liam replied, his voice full of wonder. "The room, it feels alive. More than ever before." Arya extended her hand. "Then let us dance, and let the ballroom share its joy with us." Liam took her hand, and together they moved to the center of the room. As they began to dance, the ballroom seemed to awaken fully. The chandeliers above sparkled brilliantly, casting soft rainbows across the polished wooden floor. The walls glowed with a gentle warmth, and even the sunlight streaming through the windows seemed brighter, filling every corner with life. With each step, Liam felt a deeper connection to Arya. Their movements flowed naturally, perfectly in sync, as if they had been dancing together for years. The room responded to their happiness, reflecting their emotions in colors, light, and gentle whispers of forgotten music. It was a dance not only of their bodies but of their hearts and minds. "This is incredible," Liam said softly, his eyes meeting Arya's. "I have never felt anything like this. The ballroom, it's alive because of us." Arya smiled warmly. "Yes, Liam. The ballroom remembers joy, and now it knows the happiness we share. Every step, every laugh, every feeling we give it brings it back to life. You have helped it remember what was lost." Liam's heart swelled. He realized that their bond had grown stronger with every visit, every dance, every shared moment. Arya was more than the guardian of the ballroom, she was a friend, a guide, and someone who had opened his eyes to a world of wonder he never knew existed. They continued to dance, spinning gently across the floor, their laughter blending with the soft echoes of music that seemed to rise from the walls themselves. Liam felt a sense of peace and belonging he had never experienced. The ballroom, once forgotten and silent, had become a living sanctuary of joy, love, and memories past and present intertwined. After a while, they stopped and stood together in the center of the room, their hands still clasped. Liam took a deep breath, looking around at the fully awakened space. "Arya," he said quietly, "thank you, for everything. For showing me this place, for sharing it with me, and for being here." Arya's eyes glimmered with warmth. "And thank you, Liam, for bringing the ballroom to life again. Your heart, your curiosity, your joy, they made all of this possible. Together, we have restored something precious." For a long moment, they stood in silence, enjoying the beauty of the room and the connection they shared. Liam realized that the mansion was no longer just a building, the ballroom no longer just a room. It was a living place, full of memories and life, and they were part of it. Finally, Arya spoke, her voice soft but certain. "The ballroom will always remember us, Liam. And we will always have it to return to a place of joy, wonder, and happiness." Liam nodded, smiling. "I promise I will come back. I want to continue sharing this with you, and with the ballroom. Arya reached out and gently squeezed his hand. "And I will be here, Liam. Always." As Liam left the mansion that evening, he glanced back at the ballroom. The chandeliers sparkled, the mirrors shimmered, and the sunlight created a soft, golden glow. The room seemed to hum with happiness, a quiet celebration of the connection they had forged. Liam felt a deep sense of fulfillment and joy. He knew that the forgotten ballroom, once silent and abandoned, was now alive, and it would remain alive because of the bond between him and Arya. From that day forward, Liam visited the mansion often. He and Arya shared countless dances, laughter, and quiet moments, filling the ballroom with new memories while honoring the old. The once forgotten space had become a sanctuary of hope, joy, and connection, a place where human curiosity, courage, and love had awakened life and happiness once more. And so, the forgotten ballroom, with its glowing chandeliers and shimmering mirrors, stood as a testament to the extraordinary power of connection. A place where the past and present danced together, and where two hearts had discovered the magic of shared joy.